Who else is excited for Saturn to exit Pisces and enter Aries permanently? Can I get an amen from the back? Because I'm excited. We have been talking about this for a year. You can go back, you can watch my other videos on this. I had some from spring 2025. Of course, I have videos talking about the retrograde in the fall. So you can retrace that whole storyline, all that fun stuff, because it's all up and out there. But if you are a fellow Saturn in Pisces bestie, we are free until 2052. Let that sink in. How exciting for us. So we are going to have a nice vacation where Saturn is not going to be moving through this area of our chart anymore. Our Saturn return will be over. It's still going to be putting the work in other areas, but at least the intensity will dramatically dissipate, and I am looking forward to it. So details here. I've had this marked on my calendar for 3 years. This date. February 13th at 7:12 p.m. Eastern Time, Saturn enters Aries. Now, if you have no idea why I'm so excited and why people in the chat are excited and cheering, Saturn represents maturity, responsibility, time. It's very serious. It's hard working. When Saturn is transiting a sign, it's putting in the work. We can think about this just as a comp. So if you have Mercury retrograde, you're revising, you're correcting. Oh, I should have said this differently or done that differently, or how can I, fix my technology or my transportation systems or trip or whatever it is. Saturn is like that all the time and bigger picture. So it's like, we have to fix this. We have to get rid of this. It's like the tough parent. This is not working. Goodbye. This needs to go. That's the attitude and energy of Saturn, just in direct motion, moving through an area of your life. Aries is the sign, naturally, directly after Pisces. It's the top of the zodiac. It is cardinal fire. So we're moving from mutable water into cardinal fire energy. Aries is competitive. It's driven. It can be impulsive, and it's very, very passionate. So in some ways, complementary kind of to what Saturn is trying to do. But Saturn is all about the long term. So the impulsivity, that's where we have a point of conflict, because Mars, which rules Aries, is like, let's do it. Let's get that done. It's like Mars wants to get things done. It wants to move things forward, which Saturn is on board with. But Saturn is not just going to move anything forward. This needs to be a long-term investment. This needs to benefit your growth, your development as a person. So this isn't just on a whim. And same thing with why we'll end up cutting things out. It's not serving us anymore. So yeah, this is big energy. We want to pay attention to what Saturn is doing, whether it is your chart ruler or not, because those life lessons are being activated for everybody. Saturn return, crank it up to an 11. For everyone, though, it's still important. It's still relevant. The last time that we had Saturn moving through Aries, except the preview period that we had last year, which I have videos on from May 24th through September 1st. Go back and watch those because we were all here for that. But you weren't necessarily here, depending on the person, how old you are, for the last one, the last full transit. That was from April 7th, 1996 through June 9th, 1998, and October 25th, 1998 through February 28th of 1999. So that tells us that because there was a gap in there, that there was a preview period of Saturn in Taurus between June 8th and October 25th of 98. It went into Taurus. And then there was a retrograde and it backed up into Aries and then finished it out. That's the same thing we're going through right now, but it's with Pisces and Aries. So we're at the tail end, which is the equivalent of the October through February. We have that. It's like September through February. And so now we are going to be moving on to the other side of that and going into the new energy, the new chapter. So Saturn is bringing focus, a serious, intense focus to the area of life or areas of life, depending on the house system that you use, for a comprehensive reassessment. What are our boundaries here? Do we have any? Have they been falling apart? Which ones do we need to set? What do we need to stop spending time on? Who do we need to stop spending time with? How are we setting boundaries for ourselves if we're our own worst enemy, as an example? And it's also reassessing for responsibilities. How can we step up in this area of life? How can we up level in the sense of taking things more seriously? We are taking steps to evolve and mature and to grow in a very focused way, not just growing for growing's sake. We're growing a skill set. That is what Saturn is supporting us in doing. Now, in Aries, because we have to keep that in here, that would suggest that Saturn is checking our ego. So this may be a pattern that repeats over and over and over again. That our spontaneity is going to be challenged when we're thinking about authority. So I want to do this, I want to do that, I want to fight this, I want to fight that. That could be tempered. And also, we could be lending some much needed attention to setting goals that we want to achieve. So we have that fiery energy of I want to take action, I need to take action. But Saturn is going to have us be a little bit more measured, even if we don't like it. We may resist at first. But by the end of the transit, we will learn this. It becomes a period of mastery. So it will not necessarily be a clean switch right at the starting point. But by the end, when we have some trial and error, slaps on the wrist, we will be better as long as we are trying to actually learn the lesson, to set goals that are actually going to help us achieve in the long term. We're not just, I want to do this, I want to do that, and it's random, but it fits a plan, it fits a mission, it fits who we are and who we are meant to become. Now, this transit, where we are locked in to Saturn in Aries, is February 13th, 2026 to April 12th, 2028. So we have 2 years, 2 months. That's our dedicated time to learn these lessons. Saturn moving through Aries in your 11th and 12th house. So this is taking matters of friendship way more seriously. Is this a good friend? Is this circle helping me grow? Who am I spending time with? Should I be giving these people the time of day? It also could be helping you to build, because Saturn is very much about structures. So you could be building new communities, but it's not on a whim. There is a vision, there is a mission behind it. So it's two sides of that. Ending certain friendships, relationships, or people in your network, no longer being connected to them anymore, or developing some new communities, systems. And when it moves into the 12th house, Those lessons are all internal. What's the soul up to? How am I self-sabotaging? How do I get in my own way? How can I deal with when I'm alone, when I am disconnected from other people? It's going to be very intense, very taking a hard look. It's taking a hard look so that you can come out on the other side and like really be doing something with it. Now, Roseanne, in this case, because you have 11th and 12th, what this means is that when it moves into Taurus, you could have 12th house in there as well. You can confirm, but you may have 12th and 1. So that would mean that the work wouldn't be over if that's the case, but the quality of it will change because Taurus energy is very different than Aries energy, but it would still be working on it. But like how you're working, your approach will be different. If we're talking about 4th house, this is about home and family. So maybe you are making physical changes to where you live. Maybe you are taking the time to invest in some different properties or wanting to make a big move that will benefit you in the long term. So maybe you're learning more about real estate or you're learning more about design, interior design, in a way that's not just like on a whim, that this can be useful for you so you can continue to apply it or that you can have a return on investment from it. Similarly, on the family side, it could be setting boundaries with parents or caretakers or revisiting them. Let's fine-tune those. And then knowing that you have Chiron in there, which it's in there in real time, like it's in there right now. It won't be for the full transit because it will be moving into Taurus, which I have some content on in my calendar, and we'll be talking about in future classes. When Saturn, if it even does, because it might not, this is what you'd want to check. I don't think Saturn's going to move fast enough. Chiron's in the later degrees. They probably won't catch up to each other. So it's not necessarily relevant to the conversation. But when it hits the natal Chiron, not the transiting Chiron, it's going to really pick up on the wounds. It's the why. So Saturn is trying to reevaluate this area of life, everything I was just talking about. And when it moves into the orb and then conjoins Chiron, it's like, okay, well, the reason that these boundaries aren't working, or the reason that I've been feeling afraid to do X, Y, and Z, it's because of this. It's because of this soft spot, this deep-seated fear, this thing that I need to grow, develop. So they'll be able to work together in helping you grow, but it may feel very uncomfortable during that period of time. So this would be a window, because this won't just be one day. This could be weeks, especially if there's a retrograde that happens anywhere near your Chiron. You'll definitely just want to watch, like to see where this is. But this can be an extended period of time as it's in the orb, as it is conjoined, as it is in the orb on the other side, where a lot of stuff is coming up and it feels pretty heavy. But again, it's the extra tough love of you really, really need these lessons. And then as it moves out, then it's going to feel different and you'll feel like, you know what? I'm so proud of myself for pushing through that. And now I can use what I've learned for XYZ or to help other people in these areas. So yeah, definitely a big influence if we have Chiron happening, Chiron's presence at the same time. Last one, 5 and 6. So this is really interesting. So when you have Saturn moving through the 5th house is so many ways the opposite energy of Saturn. Because the fifth house is about play, pleasure. Let's have fun. Let's be creative. Let's like enjoy ourselves. And then Saturn steamrolls through and is like, no, we have to be serious about this. What this could mean is maybe you're someone who has trouble like scheduling fun, like scheduling time to relax or to be creative. And so on the positive end, this could help you like signing up for a class, like something that requires you to show up, to dedicate time, to work on some of these things, to have a schedule, to get a mentor, something so that you can apply yourself to make yourself be more creative, be more present, have more fun. So it's a very interesting dynamic. And then as it moves into the sixth house is talking about your work. Saturn's like, yeah, now we're talking. Work. I love that. Your work and your physical health. So are you taking care of yourself? Saturn's going to be like, this isn't working, that isn't working. So there could be health challenges in that it's like where you've let yourself be unsupported. Like we have to put some restraints in place. We have to be more focused on what we are doing as relates to how we are taking care of ourselves or not. And what our relationship is with work-life balance situation, putting up those boundaries, cutting stuff off that is not helping us to grow. Our body is with us for the long term. A job is a job. It can start and it can end. Our body has to be here regardless of what job we're in. So that's going to be part of the conversation when it moves into the sixth house.